Hey, this is Keith. I'm the quartermaster of the finest. We are here today at RetroCon in Oaks, Pennsylvania. We're here today to ask some folks about the finest G.I. Joe Cobra, their favorite characters, their favorite costumes, some of our charity work. And why don't you follow me as we go through the con? Hopefully we'll get some good stuff. So come on. So you're a big G.I. Joe fan. Tell us some of your first memories of G.I. Joe.
I just remember being a little kid and the comic book commercials coming on, and I was just so captivated. It was just mind-blowing to see the animation and the action. And I mean, what little kid didn't like Army stuff, you know? So to me, this was Army with even cooler costumes and cooler outfits. Started bugging my parents for the action figures just like everybody else. We didn't have a lot of money, but the action figures were pretty reasonable, so I had plenty of the action figures and a couple of the $5, $6 vehicles. You know, my better off friends had the fancy expensive ones, so I got to go next door. And when the show came out, the first miniseries, I was just hooked after that.
One of my favorite memories was at a G.I. Joe convention where the finest had put together this really cool 3-minute video. No dialogue, just music and explosions, but showing what the troops of the finest and the Joe members went through on a mission. Scarlet looked like she was just depressed because they couldn't rescue somebody. Lowlight looked like he had just gone 10 rounds with Muhammad Ali. Stalker was just drained, but they were all still ready to fight. And when that clip ended, I yelled at the top of my lungs until I couldn't yell no more. And some of the finest members actually came up to me and said, "We heard you cheering for our video. It was amazing."
I've always been a fan of G.I. Joe and enjoyed, playing with the toys as a young kid and as an adult, and now. So I was like, oh, you know what? Let me see if I can dress up. And the first character I dressed up as was Topside. Because my wife was like helping me. She's like, I really want to be a part of this. I really want to do this. She's like, well, what costume are you gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. There's so many characters out there, but I need to do one with a beard because if I don't have a beard, my wife's gonna divorce me.
I've been a member of the finest since I think 2013. It's been quite some time. I can't believe how time has flown. And man, I met these guys on Long Island, New York, where I come from, at a show called RetroCon, and I joined them, and we've had a lot of fun times and stuff, especially at Dragon Con, marching through the streets of Atlanta, Georgia in 90-degree weather, wearing fatigues, and I'm definitely not built for fatigues.
First, I got introduced with the finest cosplaying. I did a Sergeant Slaughter because I had the build, and found out about the finest and submitted my pictures, and since then I've put together 5 or 6 costumes with the finest.
I was at a convention in 2017 and I was approached. I was wearing my Cobra Commander from Cold Slither, the Incognito Cobra Commander. And they asked me if I wanted to join, if I'd ever thought about it. And I said I thought about it, but I didn't think that would be acceptable. And they said, no, it was a canon costume. And I got put in that same day for the most part. I took the pictures, everything, and it went right through.
We walk in, and lo and behold, there's like 12 other G.I. Joe costumers. There happened to be a finest table, and oddly enough, Larry Hama was there. So I mean, that con was probably without a doubt the best con I've ever been to. It was one of my first real cons, having Larry Hama there, seeing a bunch of other G.I. Joe costumers there, and that one of the guys recruited me. I sent my submission pictures in, and that was 2013.
No, that was actually the first time I ever dressed up for a Comic-Con. I'm heavy set with a mustache. Makes it easy to be Sergeant Slaughter, So that was it, and it's just all chin from there.
It's all on the chin, really, and I actually have had real chin offs with the actual Slaughter. So he's a good friend of mine. He's awesome. We have the same first name, so I mean that right off the bat. When he sees me, he's like, "You got to stand at my booth when I have to go to the bathroom." He once met my mom. I took my mom to a con. He's like, "You have a very handsome son."
When did you first hear about or run into the finest?
It was actually a few years ago. Was the first time. She was about 2 or 3 then, so it was about 3 years ago, and I just saw them walking around. And I'm like, oh my God! I was just astounded. They were wearing the Crimson Guard's outfit, and I was just astounded at the level of detail, and it just awakened a whole bunch of nostalgia in me, and I just thought it was amazing that people were so dedicated and put so much work. Because this isn't like you go to Party City and buy the costume for $50. This is like such a labor of love. You're going to put so much time in and sourcing the materials and the attention to detail and trying to be as accurate as possible.
Major Blood was always cool because he had like the dog tags and stuff hanging from his neck. I used to love Destro. Destro was my favorite Cobra character because he had like the silver head and stuff. I always liked like different kind of toys, and then that's why I love Sergeant Slaughter so much, and that's why I wanted to cosplay him because like he was one of the beefier figures. You know, it was like he wasn't like a typical straight arm Joe. Like he was a little brolic. So that's why I like Slaughter.
We've been in front of the Finest booth here, and there's been a lot of attention paid to this particular piece, this toy set. Can you tell us a little bit about this bad boy?
Yeah, this is the G.I. Joe Defiant. Came out in, I believe it was 1987. It's considered one of the three holy grails from the toy line. With our charity campaign this year, our patch is featuring the Defiant for the 50th anniversary of the Apollo moon landing. So I'm like, well, any show I'm at, I'm bringing the Defiant with me.
I want to thank everyone who's stopped by for interviews. I want to thank everyone for donating to our charity, Canines for Warriors. Our Indiegogo campaign is still up, so please check it out. Get your collectible Cobra coin. We got a lot of other premiums you can look at. And if you just want to donate straight up, we always appreciate that too. We hope everybody had a blast. I know I did, and we'll see you soon at a con near you. Take care.
Eddie,